show some love for Dustin Nickerson!
Thank you. Thank you. That was overwhelming. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here at my debatably legal comedy special. Look at me. This is the closest I've ever done to breaking the law. So thank you. This is it. This is exactly what you want as a comedian. This is it. Outdoors, everyone's wearing masks. This is just how you dream. This is exactly like it was on my vision board. Right here, to be the first comedian ever to film a comedy special where Batman's parents got murdered. Oh, this is it, man. What a weird time. I'm just thankful to be telling jokes. I'm thankful to be doing this. It's such a weird time. I have to admit, it's like kind of fighting with me a little bit and like my natural inclinations as a person. Like in general, I don't like optimism. I hate hope. It doesn't, but these things keep happening. There's little silver linings that are happening in the world that I have to admit, I like. This is one of them. Also, my favorite form of entertainment is Facebook fights. It's never been a better time to be alive for Facebook. But people wake up every day, they're like, I'm gonna tear apart my family today. I've had too many friends for too long. They escalate so quickly. Everybody gets so mad, especially when people know each other. I was watching two cousins debate Civil War monuments. And it ended with, I'm glad you didn't get custody of your kids. I was like, this is the best movie I've ever seen, right here. I like the Facebook fights are a good example. We know this is happening culturally everywhere now. Nobody listens. Nobody listens to each other. Like the mask is a good example. I think you should wear your mask. I'm pro-mask, but you have to admit that some of the communication regarding masks has been inconsistent. Remember at the beginning? Listen, everybody, wear a mask. Just kidding, we're out of masks. We have no masks. If you could make masks and bring those to the hospital, that would be super helpful. Okay, we have enough masks now. Everybody wear your mask. Unless you're 6 feet apart, actually, then 2. Actually, 12 feet apart, then 2. You always need to wear a mask unless you're working out. Actually, you need to wear it when you're working out, too. And you know what? It's actually so important to work out. It's like the most important thing for you to do is work out. Also, the gyms are closed. Okay. There's so much just inconsistent communication. And people, they fight over a lot. And one of the things that you see a lot is people compare it to the seatbelt law. But that's a bad example because the seatbelt law is about you. The mask is about other people. And the seatbelt law is a dumb law. It's hypocritical. It says your safety is so important to us, we're going to make it a law that you wear a seatbelt. Unless you are a child on a school bus. There is one seatbelt on a school bus, and who gets it? The driver? The driver, the one person on that bus that has maxed out on their life potential. That's pro-kid, not anti-bus driver. I just, it's the fighting, everybody, we're all adjusting, we're all trying to figure out things. It's very weird for comedy. I'm doing different kinds of gigs than I've done before. One of the last gigs that I did before this, I did at a Christian youth camp. Which, imagine that, and it went worse. It's not good for comedy. It's a bad energy. It's just a bunch of sweaty virgins in the woods. And I was like, I feel like best case scenario, I get COVID. And I should be good at that. I should be uniquely qualified for that gig because I used to be a youth pastor, which I know you know from the second you saw me. I have strong youth pastor energy to me. I know that. I look like I'd be good at ping pong and a devotional, and I am. I'm very good at both of those things. But I was bad at that job because I don't like teenagers. And that's an important part of the job. I don't like any teenager. I have a 13-year-old boy. I was like, I love you. I would die for you. I would do anything for you. I don't like the way I feel when you're near me. And so I was a middle school pastor, and I would just look out at them. I was like, I don't think you deserve the love of Jesus. Jesus died for humans. You're not a human, is what I'm saying. If you've seen a middle schooler, that's not a human. None of that is a human. It's like on its way to being, it's a rough draft of a human. They're not a child or an adult. They have just that awkward, gangly energy to them all the time, you know? They're like tadpoles when they have the tail and the legs. And you just look at them like, you're not cute or useful. What are you? And like the smell of a 13-year-old boy is like, you smell sour. You smell like behind Applebee's is what you smell like. I also have had to do some gigs in like smaller towns. Like I did a gig in Emporium, Pennsylvania, which calling it a town is an aggressive term. You know those places where you're like, this isn't less of a town. It's more in between like a village and a settlement. And COVID is very different in the small places. The way we talk about it in LA, big cities and stuff is different. I went into the small town and I asked them like, how are the numbers? How are things here? And they go, 8. I go, 8%? And they go, no, 8 total, and we're pretty sure 6 of them are lying. That's such small town stuff. I love that. They're like, nah, Cindy's just dramatic. She's like that. She had Ebola and SARS. She just likes the attention. I do miss traveling as much as I was, though, because traveling had just got very comfortable for me. Flying had just got very comfortable because I get to fly first class a lot, which is nice. Not a money thing. It's an airline status thing. I get the free upgrade. I was very nervous the first time that I went up there. I literally Googled, can you wear sweatpants in first class? I didn't know the rules, but I didn't realize that first class is not about amenities. It's not about comfort. It's about one thing and one thing only, power. The whole experience is about power. That's why they put you on first, put a drink in your hand, and let you judge this parade of peasants as they walk by. Shut the curtain, shut the curtain. Now I'm addicted to that power. I have to have some of that power. So if I can't take first class, I always take the window seat, because that's the second most power you can get on a flight. You control your whole row from the window. Right there, you're like, oh, you guys are enjoying the view, huh? You guys are enjoying the view? Not anymore, you're not. Oh, you guys are napping? I gotta pee. Everybody up, everybody up! I'm the captain now. So it's all different, but like the biggest thing on how my life has been affected is like, you know, like we're all doing, parents right now, we're all doing like the Zoom school, the home school. I've never been this in the nitty gritty with every assignment, every grade, every test. I have 3 kids. One of them's dumb. I'm not gonna say which one, but the other 2 know. They know. There's little I got clues before it too. Like I remember a while back he came home from school and I was like, hey, how was your day? And he said I had an English test. And I said, well, how did it go? And he said, it went good. I was like, I bet it didn't. That is a bad omen. I know you don't know what omen means, dum-dum, but it's not good. Not good. And now I'm supposed to educate him. I cannot help them. I can't. I have first grade girl. That's when you learn how to read. I was like, you just might not learn this. I can't help. My son asked me what an integer was. I'm out. I got all sweaty. I told him it was the bluish purple color in the rainbow. I cannot help him in this. I think it's good, though, because I think it's good to be honest with your kids. As a general rule, honesty really helps kids. Like, I think we need to stop telling kids to believe in their dreams. I think you should try your dreams, but don't believe in them. Because not every dream is realistic for every person. My son wants to be in the NBA. No. Look at me. There are no me's in the NBA. No, Dad, my teacher said I can be anything I want when I grow up. Son, you're not going to grow up to be a tall black man. That's not going to happen. And if you do, I have so many follow-up questions. He called me on it, though, because my son's a little jock and he loves sports history. He's like, no, Dad, you can't think like that. Sometimes short little white guys do make it to the NBA. Ever heard of a guy named John Stockton? John Stockton, Hall of Famer and the all-time leader in assists. I said, yes, son, assists. His best skill, passing to the black guys. He wasn't good at basketball. He was good at hot potato is what he was good at. A lot of it is just I feel like your perspective changes as you get older. You don't have time for certain stuff. You don't believe certain nonsense. I understand I'm not old. I'm in my 30s. 30s is not old. However, it is the start of old. I got a little bit of young in me and a little bit of old. I'm in transition, all right? I still get excited about concerts. I also get excited about Kohl's Cash. I'm in transition, you understand me? And anything is dangerous now. That's part of it. Anything can hurt you, all right? I play basketball once a week. I texted a friend my age, and I said, hey, are you going to be here this week? And he said, no. I threw out my back, and I said, how? And he said, folding a sheet. And I'm 35 too, so I wasn't surprised. I was mad at him because we needed the numbers to run. I was like, come on, you're 35. You know you can't be doing that by yourself anymore. You free soloed a sheet? Are you insane? This is a doubles game for you now. But you're in this weird thing where it's age purgatory. Nobody cares about you in your 30s. Old people think you're young. Young people think you're old. Nobody cares. Like, I can't bring up my aches and pains to a real old person. They're insulted. I'd be like, yesterday I exercised and my knees really hurt. My knees. A real old person like, oh, really? Your knees hurt? Is that your original pair of knees? And I'm like, touche. All right, you enjoy these last couple of years. I'm so sorry. There's certain things, though, that, like, are changing. People don't tell you how they're going to change, too. Like, your whole relationship with money changes. Did you just fall asleep in the front row, my man? You're back. That was amazing. I was like, there's 30 people here, and that means a third of the crowd is asleep. If I have a man in the front row, you're very much on camera, and 3 times I have seen you. You're gonna be nodding off in high def. Whose man is this? Seriously, who invited this guy? You're not just nodding, you're fading. Like that's not just sleep, that's enhanced. Because when you normal sleep, you go down. When you got a little something extra, you go back and then down. You're on that roller coaster, not afraid of. Oh. This is gonna be a weird memory for you. This is, because you were asleep during half. This is gonna be like watching Inception for you. This is some dream in a dream stuff. Whose man is this? Who did? But I didn't put you up there. I don't know you. I'm happy you're here, but I don't know you. As if we need more distractions. We are outside right now. You know what? If my jokes don't keep you up, there'll be a train that goes by in 5 minutes. That'll rev you back up. It's my big night. Guy in the sleep in the front row. Wonderful. It's really good for the confidence. Somebody looking dead 2 feet away from you. Really good. Really get your energy going. How'd you feel? I mean, okay. A lot of the crowd loved it. One dude died. Was it COVID? I might have been. I don't know. I don't know where to go from here. Welcome back. I get it, man. That's one of the things that changes, though, man. Sleep. I get it. I'll always relate to somebody that's tired. I always relate. I feel that all the time. I could sleep at any time except when I want to go to bed. My body and brain cannot agree on bed. I'll fall asleep in moments like this, but if I want to go to bed, my body and brain cannot agree. I can be barely able to stand tired, and body's like, hey, brain, we should go to bed. And brain's like, totally. Let's do it. And then we hit the pillow, and brain's like, hey, real quick. Here is every single thing in your life that you're worried about. Here it is right here. You're like, brain, you gotta be kidding me. It's 1 a.m. We can't do anything about this. Brain's like, I'm so sorry. That's my mistake. You know, instead, here's some bad memories. Here you go. Also a scene from the scariest movie you've ever seen. Also, you have to go pee again. Get up. You don't actually have to go pee. It just feels like you have to go pee. It's crazy, man. It's a trip. Like, it's just none of it works like that. And then when you do sleep, you need that sleep. It's heavy. It's groggy, coming out of it so hard. You know iPhone has the facial recognition? You ever wake up so ugly you can't open your iPhone? Your phone is like, that cannot be you. I am filled with the most sophisticated technology on the planet. I don't recognize whatever goblin got a hold of me last night. If that is you, that's a big if, I can't be seen with you right now. You need to go down to Cricket Wireless and get a burner for the day. I can't. I just had to wake you up, buddy. I was like, there's 11 people here. I need one of them to be real good. Percentage-wise, too much of the crowd is asleep. But that's a lot of what it is. You know, your life is changing, and it's like some of it's very subtle. Like I've noticed your relationship with money changes in a very subtle way. You feel judged. That's why we buy cars we can't afford, homes we can't afford, clothes because you feel judged. Like I love to thrift shop, which is why we made this look like a thrift shop. This is a dream come true to do my comedy special at an outdoor Goodwill. What a treat. Somehow we made this happen. This is all my energy right here. I love the thrift shop. And in your 20s, you can get away with it. People are like, oh, man, that's cool. Dustin's, you know, a little eccentric. He likes a good deal. I like that. In your 30s, like, people are like, oh, Dustin lost his job. You know? People start to feel real bad for you in your 30s. I drive a crappy car, and I feel judged in it. But the reason I drive a crappy car is because you know if you grew up without money, you drive a car until it catches on fire, and then you finish that trip. Like the flames haven't hit me, let's not be unrealistic here. So most humiliating about the vehicle that I drive is my window doesn't work on my side, on the driver's side. So when I take it to a drive-through, it's humiliating. I don't know if you've ever seen this idiot or been this idiot. You shouldn't be allowed. You don't have the one thing that you need, which is because I don't stop at the drive-through window. I have to drive a little past the pickup window so I can open my door and angle back. And you don't realize you lose all your dignity in 45 degrees. You're like, don't judge me. I fly first class, don't judge me. The last time I was at a Starbucks drive-thru, I'm reaching back to grab the drink, and as I grab it, the barista goes, hey, do you need a receipt? Really? Do I look like a guy who's tracking his finances that closely? Do I need a receipt? What do you envision happening? That I'm gonna grab this receipt and go enter it in QuickBooks at home? I shouldn't even be here right now. This is clearly a splurge purchase. I Kelly Blue Booked it. You know, you look up the value of your vehicle. It said it was worth $300. Should have just said LOL at that point. That's a joke. That means when I take that vehicle to Costco and I load up everything that I've purchased, I have double the value of the vehicle. That's the time to steal it, right then. That's the stuff that changes. Sleep changes, money changes, health changes. Your goals change. Your goals change. In your 20s, you say things like, man, I want to look hot naked. In your 30s, you say things like, I want to look pretty good dressed. If you cover most me up, I look pretty good. Your goals just change. All of it changes. Like, it becomes way harder. So he's like, I work out a lot. Exactly. One of the biggest laughs I've gotten so far is an involuntary, like, there's no way. I'm disappointed too. This took a lot of effort. She almost died right there. No. This is either funny or sad. I'm not sure. I work out a lot. It's hard, man. I asked my wife, I was like, does it look like I work out? She goes, you know, it looks like you work out, but like also that you never miss a cheat day. All right. That's accurate, but hurtful. It was very hard during quarantine to stay in good shape, you know, because you're just home with your food. I don't got any friends right now, but I got these Teddy Grahams, so they'll keep me company. I asked a friend if he had any tips. You know, my buddy Adam, his personal trainer. I was like, yeah, any tips? You know, something, you know, the gym's closed. What should I do? And he's like, oh, you know, for you could just do like a lot of body weight exercises. That's so insulting. When you really think about it, it's like, dude, you are so fat and out of shape. If you just lifted your arm, that would be good for you. And don't overdo it, honestly. Like, if that's too much, use your other arm to lift your arm and make sure to stretch and ice. You're going to be in a lot of pain. I just don't like the dishonesty on, like, dieting. Because we all know what dieting really is. Every day, we all make a choice. Am I going to eat healthy or am I going to be happy? Those are your choices. We know that it's like that. Like, there was a new Cheeto that came out this year, almost killed me. They made a Cheeto and had the audacity to cover it in cinnamon and sugar. They're called Sweetos. They should be called Diabetos. I love them. They gave me type 1 and 2. I'm a big fan. That's where I lose it. Like, I lose all self-control. Like cookies. Cookies make me so happy I eat them till I'm sad. That's when I know I'm finished. I asked that same buddy, my personal training friend, I said, do you ever cheat? Do you ever cheat? He goes, yeah, I love cookies. And I go, really? What's your favorite kind of cookie? And he goes, oatmeal raisin. I was like, have you not had the other cookies before? Oatmeal raisin, that's like a week away from being a granola bar. Just leave that out. It'll turn, chop it up, put it in a bowl. That's potpourri now. That's what that is. I was always very confused by potpourri as a child because I had a very unique childhood. I was raised by a single dad, and I was raised redneck. I have seen my dad cry 2 times ever, and both those times involved the Daytona 500s. All right, it was him in my house and my Uncle Butch. Whatever you just saw when I said Uncle Butch, that's him right there. He had one son, he named him Tater. That's my family. That's where I come from. So my dad would put the potpourri on the back of the toilet. He's like, it really helps with the smell in here. I'm like, doesn't seem like it. That's not potpourri's fault. Nothing can do it. Nothing can fix the bathroom smell. Stop trying. Stop. We tried the spray. The spray does not fix the situation. It changes it. It's not better. It's different. Like you walk in and be like, oh, it smells like poop in here. Shh. Okay, now it smells like kind of like a citrusy poop in here. Kind of like a fall breeze of feces. Oh, what's that scent? Downhill from a farm? Thank you. Thank you. This is nice. People get so preachy about their dieting. That's what turns me off. I can't stand preachiness. I don't like when people oversell their weird thing. That's why I don't like essential oils. You guys familiar with essential oils? Yeah, some of you are twitching for your vials right now. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. All right, I got the vaccine right here in my pocket. Right here. We'll baptize you in peppermint. If you're not familiar with essential oils, I'll fill you in. It's this small cult that thinks whatever your life problem is can be fixed by their magic gypsy oil. That's all. You hear their pitch, and they're like, okay, so I just rub this on my neck, and that'll be good for my skin and my dog's anxiety. Oh, okay. Oh, it's not supported anywhere in the medical community? Perfect. Oh, and it's a pyramid scheme? Keeps getting better. I don't know. In general, you just hear people get so hyped about those things. There's a lot of shaming, too, right now on dad bods. I can't do it. To me, if you're a dad and you don't have a dad bod, then you might be a bad dad. It's just a time management issue. Like, it takes a lot of time to be in good shape or a good parent. Every time, you have to neglect your health or your children, one or the other. Every time I see, some super ripped dad, I just get bummed out. It's like, those are just muscles that aren't hugging their kids, all right? So it just changes. All that stuff changes, one of the big things that you notice is when you start, feeling out of place, when you feel old, because there are things that I feel old about. I worry about a lot of teenagers because they're all getting in accidents, texting and driving. So they're not good at it like us adults, I feel some of your judgment there. I don't care. Have you done it? The drive goes so fast you hardly see a thing. It's a great way to pass the time. There's things that change. There are things that come into the world that I worry about, and things that go away from the world that I worry about too as a generation. I watched this interview a while back with the 6 12-year-old boys. They were in that horror movie It that came out a few years ago. All right, so they asked them, hey, what was the hardest part about making this movie? And all 6 of these 12-year-old boys said the hardest part about this movie is we all had to learn how to ride bikes. 6 12-year-old boys that don't know how to ride bikes? I was like, I hope the clown is real. I hope. At least for you 6. They said to take bike lessons. Bike lessons? Bike lessons are your dad going close enough and shove you into traffic. Ride or die, son. Ride or die. There's things that are coming into the world that I don't fully understand too. I want to be supportive, I want to be understanding, but I don't get it. The last day job that I had, I worked at a rec center, and I managed college students. It was a great job, I loved it, but there were things in the workplace that weren't there when I entered the workplace. So I remember I had one employee call me up one day, he goes, Dustin, I can't come into work today because I need to use a mental wellness day. I'm registering. I was like, I'm trying to remember my HR training. I believe his mental wellness is very important. I just have a series of follow-up questions. Are you depressed? Are you struggling with depression? He goes, no. Okay, are you having a panic attack? Are you struggling with anxiety? He goes, no, I can't come into work today because I'm feeling a little sad. I was like, oh, Brian, we're all sad here. We're adults at work. What do you think's happening? We're sad because we're here, as a matter of fact. And don't talk to, I'm not the guy to talk to about sad, all right? I work the road 30 weeks a year. Don't talk to me about sad until you're driving a rented Nissan Sentra in Dayton, Ohio, just hoping the Cats in the Cradle doesn't come on the radio. Don't talk to me about sad until you've like been on the road for like 11 days and you're flying home and you take a middle seat on purpose just for the human touch. That's it. And even before that, just as a dad, you have these moments. You have these like heavy moments. Like in my bathroom, there are 2 toilets. A regular toilet, and on the ground next to that, a little Mickey Mouse potty training toilet. You've seen these. And in a moment of pain and weakness and desperation, I come into the bathroom and I choose to use Mickey. You know why? Because when you do, Mickey sings a little song to you. And I hadn't felt encouraged in a while. And it absolutely works. I stand up feeling strong, saying, yes, Mickey, I am a big boy. Amazing. I keep looking to see if you're awake, but now you're cleaning your glasses. You keep distracting me, man. You're in the front row. Is this the time? Are you worried about getting some glare on your glasses? You already fell asleep. It's not gonna be worse. You were just picking something off your glasses. Did you guys see that? Of course you saw it. We're in a living room right now. He's just doing this. Like, this seems like a good time. This seems like I'm not really enjoying this joke, so I'm just gonna chip away at my glasses. I definitely probably feel older than a lot of 35-year-olds. And a lot of that is because I got married young and I had kids young, right? I got married when I was 19. I know, and I'm not even in the Army. I know. When you get married young, people assume one of 2 things, Mormon or military, and neither. I don't like big groups with secrets. Do you like that? I said one negative thing about the Army and like a gong went off. Was that? Are we about to have a drone strike? Whose phone is on? Are they tapping in? What's happening right now? I said Army and like a bunch of sensors went up. Someone please let me know if there's a red laser on me at any time. I was just like, we're still married. We're very happy. I was just very immature when we first got married, which is easy to believe because this is mature me. I used to think it was hilarious to write on my wife's grocery list butt cream. My wife would make her grocery list, and then I would sneak in, and I would write butt cream, and then I would giggle about this hilarious imaginary thing that I made up. Now I'm in my 30s, and I still write butt cream, but not ironically. I write butt cream, and then parentheses, I put extra strength. And don't buy store brand. We need the name brand stuff, all right? It's humid. The reason that I got married young is because I fell for a girl way out of my league. And I don't mean that like in an overly complimentary way. Like when people see us together, they're confused. People will look at us like, huh. Oh, I bet he's funny. Sometimes I'm trying to understand it too. Like I want it, because I found out my wife was into me. So like when we were dating, I was like, man, like how can I make this legally binding? I need this woman to swear to God she'll never leave me. I need to get God and the government involved in this transaction. At least add some red tape to the scenario. So it's just, I asked her, so I came at it at a weird angle. I asked her if she thought one of my friends was attractive. And this went poorly. But not in the way I anticipated it going poorly. I asked her, I was like, hey, do you think, are you attracted to him? Is he an attractive guy? And she goes, I'm not really attracted to guys based on the way they look. I was like, honey, that hurt me so much more. That like destroyed me on like a molecular level. I wish you would have told me you fantasize about him every day. That would have hurt me less. Don't get me wrong. I was always confused about it because this is very specific. I'm very niche. I understand that. It's like, but I thought that's what you liked. I thought you were into this. You're like, I want a guy that looks like he reads comic books and is hard to push over. That's what I want. I want him sturdy and nerdy. That's how I want him. But the longer you're married, just, the more realistic you get about marriage. And that's so helpful. Me and my wife are very happy. We're also very jaded. Not towards each other, just towards marriage in general. I know this because the last wedding we went to, we were giggling during the vows. Couldn't take it seriously because I know better. I know better. This is not a marriage. This is a wedding. Those are different things. A marriage is tomorrow when they get to the airport and she goes, I forgot my passport. Now you're married. That's the ceremony right there. Today, till death do us part. Tomorrow, I'm going to Mexico alone. You had one job. One job. Paid and planned for this whole thing. You just get, like, people ask for advice. I always take that as a compliment. Hey, you and your wife, Melissa, you seem very happy. You've been together. How do I know who's the one? How do I know who's the one? I always give them the same advice. I go, listen, ignore everything positive about them. That doesn't help you. We all like the positive things in people. Look at the worst part about them. Look at the most annoying thing about a person, and if you can stand that thing, then that's your soulmate. There's clues along the way. For example, like if you're in a relationship with somebody and they say espresso, and you don't want to murder them, then marry them right then and there. I do. There's no X in that word. You are uncultured and illiterate is what you are. That's how I know me and my wife are each other. We can stand, and that should be part of the process. Like, that should be on the dating apps. It shouldn't be like, I like to kayak. It should be like, I grind my teeth at night. FYI. Oh, you have a sleep apnea machine? Perfect. Perfect. That's how I know me and my wife are each other. We can stand each other's annoying things. We can get through it. My wife can't say the word salsa correctly. She says salsa. Like, may I have some chips and salsa? You feel that tension right there? I've said it twice. You all hate her already. Like, I'm out. She's yours, buddy. I'm way worse to be married to, though. I know that. But we do have some of our things. We, like, together, we are, like, the whitest couple in history. Like, we look like we were born in a Panera Bread. Do you understand me? Very white. And she somehow, like, dialed it up a little. She's somehow, like, a little whiter than me, which is crazy, because look at this. I am, like, cartoonishly white. I'm aggressively Caucasian. Like, if you were like, hey, draw a picture of a white person, and then you showed them me, they're like, dial it back a little. Like, that's too much. You're coming in too strong. Nobody will believe it. I get my whole vibe. I understand. Like, someone got me a salmon-colored shirt recently. I can't wear salmon. I am salmon. I put it on. I was just floating glasses at that point. Just put on a pair of khakis and it disappeared entirely. Gone. Very white. I understand. I just look like I'm, sitting here waiting for a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids reboot. Like, I understand. That's a knee slapper. I know. Yeah. There's always like a relief when I say that. You're like, finally, he acknowledges the Moranis in the alley. Finally. All right, don't clap that hard. That's a little hurtful. I can't. I've never been profiled really in any way. The closest to profiling it is sometimes when I get in an Uber, like the driver will take one look at me and immediately put on Weezer. And at first, I'm always a little offended, and then like 15 seconds, and I'm like, I do like this song, though, all right? Say it ain't so. You got me. No, turn it up. My wife, though, she dialed it up a little more. It's crazy. Like, I grew up in a more diverse area, so I'm just used to certain things that she's not. I'll give you a story. Recently, we're at my son's soccer game. His friend comes up who happens to be black. My wife, who's super friendly, goes, hey, what's your name? And the kid goes, Jameer. And this is the moment that I realized just how white my wife is, because the kid goes, Jameer, and my wife goes, John Mayer. That actually happened. I didn't dial that story up an ounce. Why do you think that's even possible? That Jameer gets thrown up in the atmosphere. Your white brain receives that information, processes it in its totality, and goes, yeah, John Mayer, that's what I heard. I didn't mishear. I am not going to ask a follow-up question. This little black child's first name, John Mayer. That's it. His name is John Mayer. His body is a wonderland. Let's go do white things like brunch in an escape room. Let's go. I have a Groupon. There's a new one. It's a brunch-infused escape room. It's called the Crepe Room. I'm going. Let's go. Seriously clapping like, I would go to the Crepe Room. I would go. The clue was in the crepe. I'm in. There's certain things, though. Like, I know I'm way worse to be married. Part of it changes as you got older. Like, a little, like when Maggie became a dad, once you're a dad, that's your whole filter through the world. You're very practical. You can't help but not filter everything as a dad, even when it's very serious stuff. When the first big riot happened in June in Minneapolis, and that Target got looted. I'm watching that as a dad. I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is so stupid. What are you doing? You don't loot a Target, you loot a Nordstrom Rack because they have a way better return policy. You're more likely to get your money, but everything, like even some of the stuff that I was watching, one of the funniest things that I saw is like, I saw a guy steal during one of the riots from a used sporting goods store. Who loots but doesn't get something new? Who has the gall to go steal something? It's like, I'm just gonna get this used hockey stick and go on my way. That's enough for me. I had like a lot of questions and stuff, during it. Like when I would I went to a few protests and like I have too many questions. But one question that nobody ever has an answer to is nobody tells you what to do with your sign afterwards. I have a sign. It says Black Lives Matter. I believe it. I'm on the team. It's not a nice looking sign. I made the sign. I'm not gonna come home and put it on the wall. But I also don't want to be seen in my neighborhood putting a Black Lives Matter sign in the trash. That's not the message I'm trying to send either. So right now it's in the trunk next to the hockey stick. And so it's stuff like that I know I am way worse to be married to. There's certain things like that I'm way worse to be married to. Even basic like man things. Like I'm not handy. I can't fix anything. Things will break in the house and I'll spend like hours trying to fix it. And my wife will come out. She's like, is it fixed? I'm like, it's better. I mean, I wouldn't put my weight on it. What I'm saying is the bed is decorative now, is what I'm saying. I can't, like, we had to put on chains recently, all right? My dad and the whole family, we all go up to go sledding, all right? We go up sledding. We had to put chains on. Now, I'm not an idiot. I know to bring chains. In the instance that we need to put them on, totally screwed. Because it's not easy. Have you ever tried to put on chains? It's just a loose chain. There's no logic to it. I was like, it looks like a weapon from Double Dragon, is what it looks like. I don't know what to do with this. My wife hops out of the car, starts putting it on. It all makes sense to her. I'm in love. I'm so happy. My heart is warm. My dad, disgusted. He's never been more disappointed. He's like, Dad, how dare you judge me when you are wearing a scarf that I knitted? Hey. We all bring different things to the table, Pops. There's just basic stuff too. Some of the stuff in a relationship is outside of your control, and you got to be able to deal with that stuff too. Some of it's biological, like it's not a choice that you make. Maybe you snore, maybe you got a weird tic, something like that. I faint easy, as if you could have respected me less. It just happens. I go, what a terrible way to go through life, never knowing when you might hit the ground and need to put the pieces back together. I fainted on our third date. Our third date. We'd had 2 Barnes & Noble's hot chocolates, and then I faint in public. What happens is if I see an injury, like somebody gets hurt or something like that, that's when it happens. So we go on our third date, and I see a guy having a seizure. And my brain's like, hey, I'm going to get out of here. I'm not really enjoying the show. I would love to you can take it from here. But I don't know if you've ever fainted. But if you have fainted, you know you have about 5 seconds. You fainter, you feel me. Yeah, let's just hold each other up. We'll go back to back. At any given time, we might go down. You have about 5 seconds to explain that you're fainting and why you are fainting. You have to explain to people what is happening and give them context. All I can muster out as I'm going down is, oh God, he's dying. And I hit the ground. Our third date, pivotal moment in our relationship. You know why? Because I woke up and she was still there. Never been an easier time to leave somebody. Right then, I'm out of here. Not only was she there, she helped me. She went and got the medic who was helping the guy that had the seizure. And he was all kinds of confused. He's like, who's this other guy over here? What's his deal? Oh, he's pathetic. That's his deal. Way worse to be married to. But a lot of people give dumb marriage advice, and they tell you, it's important to love the same things together. And that's true, but really what's important is to hate the same things together. I think it's a more powerful bond, honestly. Just let your love grow through bitterness and spite. It's really, really helpful. Like me and my wife, one of our things that drive us crazy is when young couples try and brag a little bit. They tell us the things that they do, that just show how real in love they are. We get this one a lot. Every night we still fall asleep together cuddling. We still cuddle. That is such young couple nonsense. You know why you cuddle early on in a relationship? Because you're still afraid they're going to leave. You're not cuddling, you're holding on is what you're doing. They would leave. This isn't romance. This is a hostage situation, what it is. You know what the most happily married couple in bed looks like? Could you be further away? Further away. A married couple invented the California king because the king bed didn't suffice. Further away. Even you see it in the marketing. You know how they sell mattresses to real couples? Remember the Tempur-Pedic mattress commercial? They had the girl jumping next to the glass of wine and it didn't spill. It's like, what does that say? You can be jumping in the bed next to me. I just don't want to know you're here. You can be having an affair. That's fine. Just don't wake me up. You've taken enough of my daytime dreams. Could I have these ones? That'd be nice. I get so annoyed by it, we had one tell us recently, oh, we still share a blanket. We still share a blanket. Do you want to share a blanket? No, I don't want to share a blanket. I got my own farts to deal with over here. I spent the last half an hour cocooning myself so they don't leak out to your side. Share a bank account. Is that enough for you? That's real. That's like a real relationship, You hate the same things together. We recently got a baby shower invitation for our friend's fourth child. You're just being greedy at that point. What do you want me to get you? A book on family planning? Is it a pop-up book? No, it's a pull-out book. That's what it is. You can plan these things. Some of that that all comes from like when people get out of their lane and they get all judgy. I don't like that. Live your life, stay in your lane, just don't hurt other people. I get in so many fights with people like who live a different life. I get in a lot of fights with dog parents. Now, we all know there's a difference between dog owners and dog parents. I did a show a while back with a dog parent. I know we weren't going to get along because I was backstage going to my notes and she was backstage open mouth kissing her dog. That's the right response to that. Thank you. And that's what I do. And she sees me all grimacing and uncomfortable. And she's like, well, you have kids, right? And I go, yeah. She goes, well, can your kids even do this? I said, sit on my lap and make out with me? Legally, no. And this is when the crazy starts to unravel when they talk to the dog. Just ignore that big bad man. What do you want for dinner tonight, honey? Chicken or fish? It's so funny because it's like the do-do-ch, but it never hits at the right time. One of these times it's gonna be right when I want it, but instead it's just gonna startle me, and I'm gonna go, there's no way we can edit that out. That is impossible. I said the same thing, I made the joke about this is where Batman's parents got murdered, but I'm starting to think this is actually where the Joker became the Joker. This looks like some really bad, sorry, it's too nerdy, I'm sorry. I would say that I read comic books, but you know that. Okay, we're gonna restart that joke. Let's all pick it up. But no, don't do that. That's pandering at this point. Let's not. There's no protocol for what we're doing right now. Hey, when you're at an outdoor comedy special, filmed in an alley, surrounded by hazardous waste. That's when they start talking to the dog. That's what happens. That's when the crazy starts to unravel a little bit. She starts talking to the dog. She goes, honey, what do you want for dinner tonight, honey? Chicken or fish? Chicken or fish? Chicken or... And then she looks at me and she says this. She goes, know what, sir? I believe that all animals should be treated equally, if not better than people. I go, really, all animals? What about chicken and fish? Feel like I'm seeing some inconsistencies there, all right? She gets mean. She goes for the cheap shot. This is why you have to stay in your lane. They get mean. They go for the cheap. Well, you just need to know. You just need to know that your little kids could never fill your heart in the way my dog does. That's so mean. I was like, whatever. Maybe that's true. But you just need to know your dog is going to die way before my kids. And you might have to kill it. So... I always want to clarify on that joke that I'm not anti-animal. I just like seeing animals do what they're supposed to do in the world, all right? Like when orcas started eating trainers at SeaWorld, I bought a season pass. The only animal in the world that I don't like is my cat. It's the only one I don't like. He's this alpha. He doesn't know his place. I have two cats. That's the one I don't like. I always have to put him in his place, and I've tried everything. The only thing that's effective is I do it via song. I bring him in real close. I go whisker to whiskers, and I go, nobody likes you. Nobody loves you. You're lucky to have a home. There's a second verse that goes, nobody likes you. Nobody loves you, and you're going to die alone. Right, because you guys know how cats go off and die by themselves. I like to let him know that I know that about him. I'm just always looking for reasons to get rid of him. Like, he had this little itch thing recently, and the vet was like, yeah, he has fleas. I'm like, you're right. We have to put him down. We do. You know what? I'll take care of it, Doc. Actually, I have some essential oils back at the house, and pretty sure those can kill or resurrect a cat. Whatever you need. Some of it, again, is just people like, they stay out of the lane, they get a little preachy, and they don't fully understand. Now, I like for the predicament that parenting is. Parenting is not bad, but it is hard. But there are certain moments that are amazing, all right? A while back, I did a gig at Arizona State University, home of the Sun Devils, and I brought my kids out, all right? And we get there. My kids have felt heat before, but not Arizona August heat. We open the door, and there hits my son's face, and he goes, Dad! Is this hell? Oh, no, son, it's Phoenix. I remember we're on the campus, and he goes, then why is there a devil on the flag? I go, that checks out. Actually, we cannot get to the hotel pool fast enough, all right? Baby jumps in, wife jumps in, oldest kid jumps in, middle kid's a rule follower, stops, dad says we need to read the rules. Not one time in my life have I read the rules of a pool, but there was one that stumped me because she said, what does that mean? And the middle one said, you may not use the pool if you've had active diarrhea in the last 48 hours, and I was like, why would they phrase it like that? What's inactive diarrhea? Is that just diarrhea that needs to get out of the house more? That makes it sound like there's some scale, like some spectrum that like active lies in between inactive and explosive. Oh. I do like being a dad, though. One of my pet peeves is when like parents will never like talk about the positives of being parents. There are so many amazing. My son is a little jock. I love going to his games. The only thing more satisfying than watching your kids at the game are watching the kids that are there against their will. If you have not had the chance to watch a child be forced into youth sports participation, what a gift. What a gift from above. I love it so. There's a kid on my son's basketball team named TJ. TJ does not sit on the bench. TJ lays on the bench. And whenever they call his number, it's a big, dramatic scene. He flops out of the ground, rolls out to center court, flips off his parents. I love TJ. I can't get enough of this kid. Every time it's the game, I'm like, yeah! TJ! TJ! I have a foam finger. It's just a middle finger. I love TJ. I don't know what's going to happen. He's a total wild card. I have seen 1 million kids make or miss a basket. I have seen one kid bite a ref. That's worth getting up for on a Saturday morning. At the end of last season, they had the best moment. You know that you guys have all seen the viral YouTube moment where the kid who's not very good gets his first basket of the season. Crowd goes nuts, all right? So they try and create this moment with TJ. It's the last seconds, the last quarter, the last game of the season. The game's out of hand. They put TJ in. Everybody knows what's happening. Everybody's getting their phones out. The game on the other side of the court stopped. Everybody's into it, all right? So they put him in, all right, and they throw it down. The defense clears. It's wide open lane for TJ. They throw it. He catches it. All eyes on TJ. 5, 4, 3. This psychopath does not shoot the basketball. He licks the basketball, and then he kicks it into the stands. This is the best moment of my life. I am so happy. And then he turns and addresses the crowd like that scene from Gladiator, like, are you not entertained? Is this not why you're here? I was like, this is why I'm here, TJ. My kid's not even playing today. So there are moments, but if you don't have kids, just be very supportive to your friends that do have kids, because modern parenting has all these challenges that were not there before. The phone is the big one. My son wants a phone so bad. He's 13. I'm tempted to give him one because while I'm on the road, I like to stay in touch with him. And sometimes he'll text me from my wife's phone, but I don't always know who I'm hearing from. One of the last times that I left, me and my wife got in a big fight before we left. And the next text that I got from her, Sweetheart is listed in my phone. The next text I got from Sweetheart says, I'm sleeping at Pete's house tonight. Oh, I'm sorry, what's that? I just respond, who in the world is Pete? And it says, don't worry, his dad's home. What's happening right now? A lot of hot takes, too, on different issues. Discipline's one of the big ones. People talk about spanking a lot, and, if you're going to spank, that's one thing. But if you're going to spank, I don't like when people act all high and righteous about it. They act like they're doing something, like, amazing, like, hey, we discipline, but we never discipline in anger. What do you discipline in apathy? We don't hit our kids when we're mad. Are you crazy? That's why you hit a kid, because you're mad. And you know what? That's the right emotion to match the action. You want to ruin a child? Spank them with a smile on your face. Get that kid a Groupon for therapy while you're back there. My biggest take is you just got to do whatever works for your kids in that season of their life. Kids are different. Every family's different. Things can be effective in different seasons. We lied to our kids for a long time. We made them think there was a program, if they were bad enough, they could get sent to. And that program was called BKIM, which stood for Bad Kids in Mexico. It was so effective for years. They get all scared, like, I don't want to go to BKIM. We would milk it too. Like, we'd be like on the freeway and see a bus of kids going by and be like, there they go. There they go. That's what happens when you ask for Pokemon cards in Target. My son turned like 8 or 9. He's like, there's no way. There is no way that BKIM is real. I was like, yeah, it is. Ask your brother. And he's like, I don't have a brother. I'm like, exactly. I'm going to milk this for a few more years. And some of that sounds harsh, but again, you know if you're in it that like there can be moments. Kids can be so mean sometimes. They can be very mean in very vulnerable moments. Like I get really car sick, all right? And the last time that I got car sick in front of my kids, not only were they not supportive, they were mocking me. My kids were doing impersonations of me puking as I was still actively puking, just in the back of the car. I'm dead. Blah, blah. Don't faint again, Dad. Blah, blah. I don't know how to handle that situation, so I just go instinct. I go, look at me. You look at me in the eyes. You need to know that of everyone in this family, your mom is the only one that I picked. I can feel that split the crowd a little bit. Some of you are offended, and the rest you're like, I need to write that down. That is amazing. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of this. We did it. It's just so fun and weird, but we pulled it off. Thank you, everybody.